Welcome everyone. I have members from Maple Leaf, Toastmasters, and Raising Champions here. So I thought, why not share the love with everybody and really start to talk about some general basics for blogging for beginners. So tonight, my intention is this, to share the very basics of how to get us started on writing blogs so that we can A, do our Pathways project on level 4 elective, write a compelling blog, and B, for our Raising Champions family, really start to create some content that we can utilize on our website in our blog section to help generate more views as well as more members. So this is something that anybody can utilize. So let's just start first quickly by asking the question, and I'm going to ask Karen if you could be my eyes, please.
Sure.
Have their hands up. All right, what is a blog?
Wayne has his hand up.
Go ahead, Wayne, what's a blog?
A blog as in Bravo, not as in Victor?
B-L-O-G, blog.
Okay, a blog is a written memoir of whatever you want to talk about.
Okay, anybody else want to add to what a blog is?
I'm going to say a virtual or a written diary for some people. It all
Okay.
depends on what their wants are.
Cheryl has her hand up.
Okay, Cheryl?
That's right. Sometimes it's just somebody's diary online, airing your dirty laundry. and
Exactly.
thoughts online for all the world to read.
Oh, that's Facebook.
Yeah, they use that too.
Yes, okay, so it is information that is in a written format on different platforms on the internet. It can be sharing expertise, opinions, or your insight on any topic or event. And you're right, it is personal. So it could be airing your dirty laundry, ranting and raving, or it could be sharing something of value. So blogging, it comes in all different shapes and formats, and there's many different ways and reasons to blog. So let's go through some of them. So first things, let's think about why should we blog? Anybody want to take a stab?
Wayne has his hand up.
Wayne, go for it.
It can be used for many reasons. In our particular reason for Raising Champions or Maple Leaf, it is to let people know what is happening, what's upcoming, what has just passed. So it's a great marketing tool.
Mhm. Absolutely, you're right. So anybody else want to chime in before I dive into some other reasons why we should blog?
Demetra.
Go ahead, Demetra.
It may be used for therapy.
Oh, for therapy. That's interesting. Okay. Absolutely.
To stay in touch with people.
Stay in touch with people. Yeah. So similarly to any story or speech that we tell, you want to know the intention behind it. So Wayne mentioned about letting people know what's happening. It will generate interest in what you're up to, will generate traffic to your website. It will also give credibility to your audience about what you're talking about. If you're sharing expertise and valuable content, people are going to come to you as the expert. It also gives an opportunity for you to educate and inform, inspire or motivate, or entertain. So all the things we talked about what a blog was comes in those headings. So whether you're ranting and raving and sharing your dirty laundry, that could be entertaining. Perhaps keeping in mind it's on the internet, you may not want to say all those things because it may bite you in the butt later, but it might be to inspire and motivate people to try a new project on Pathways like blogging or podcasting. Or perhaps it's just about sharing some techniques or expertise that somebody didn't know about, maybe how Pathways works, or how to engage your audience, or how to write a speech introduction. There's so many things of why you should blog, but really it's to stay connected with your audience. And that's the other really important piece about blogging, is to identify who your audience is. Who is your target audience? Who are you going after? For us, it's Toastmasters or potential Toastmasters, or even people to learn about the Toastmasters organization. But if you're having a blog for a business, it might be potential customers. It may be people that you want to know about your product or your talents or your services. So really identifying who your audience is and where to find them, that's the other secret, is also very important. Let's talk about other reasons. So people generate, again, building trust is a big one with your audience. So let's just say, for example, Maple Leaf Toastmasters, you guys are doing a blog about, let's say about what it's like to have a corporate club. And you may be trying to get people from within your organization to join Toastmasters. So you could talk about how it benefits your work by joining Toastmasters. And for raising champions, you could talk about the benefits of joining an advanced Toastmasters club. Again, your own insight and expertise on the topic that's showing that you're knowledgeable. And after you've put out this blog and you've seen people have read it, you may get some comments or interactions on it. And there might be a follow-up blog answering those questions, or also on a topic that has been raised. So it could be a conversation almost, but that's not the initial reason for blogs, but there's a lot of potential that comes out of it. It also helped build SEO. What is SEO? Anybody?
Search engine optimization.
Yeah, so why is that important, Wayne?
So you can get proper ranking. So for example, if somebody wanted to learn about how to write a speech introduction, they may go to Google, type in how to write a speech introduction, and there might be 14,933 hits, but you want to be able to be on the first page, either at the very top or at the very bottom.
Definitely. And that's exactly, the more visibility. And it's interesting because when we're going to get into coming up with a catchy title and how to pick the topics to blog about, you want to consider all of that with your audience, because the more you figure, you have 4 million people on the internet. That's the most recent number. 4 million people that can help get access to your blog to bring awareness and traffic to you and help make your name, Raising Champions, Advanced Toastmasters, Maple Leaf Toastmasters, or even your personal name, if you're going to do it under your personal name, all the way to the top, so that you start coming up quicker. And this takes time and practice, and getting your members involved and getting them to like and share and comment and all that stuff on any social media posts, but especially on blogs. So another benefit of blogging, we've talked about reaching our audience, getting traffic to our website, and getting awareness about your brand. So we know from being experienced Toastmasters, not everybody knows what Toastmasters is, let alone everybody doesn't know about these individual clubs. So a good way is by using common threads throughout your blogs. And this can be done by using keywords, key phrases, and common titles. So when we were talking in our first meeting about this project, my thought of the blog title was Chronicles from Champions. Now, that was just the first initial thought, because it's going to be a different person writing, but we're all raising champions. If you have something that may be catchy, but may not give it away, you may want to change it and go Raising Champions Advanced Toastmasters blog and be that obvious. You could, that will help with your SEO, but it's awfully long and wordy, don't you think? So finding something that's going to fit, catch the attention, and help generate SEO. So this is something that your group of whoever is blogging with you. Now, blogs can be written by one person or a group of people. In this situation, we're going to be talking about multiple authors blogging. And I call you authors because that's exactly what bloggers are authors, on one blog. So if you have a blog, so again, I'll use the example of Gerda and I with our podcast. On our podcast website, we have a blog section. So we'll blog about every episode that we have done. It might be extra content, it might be thoughts or things that we didn't think about when we were talking, or questions that have been come up after the episode from our audience. So that just keeps conversation going and helps keep the SEO going in the great world of the internet. So when you're starting out, what are some things that we need to know as first-time beginning bloggers? Obviously, let's start at the very basics. What am I going to write about? How do I write a blog? And how do I put it out in the world? Let's start with, what am I going to write about? What do you guys think you should write about? You can give me some topics, or you can give me ideas, themes. And let's keep it with being Toastmasters.
There's to be something that you're passionate about.
Yes, you have to be passionate about. Absolutely. Why is that important, Anne?
Because it shows in your writing, it'll show in your face, it'll show everywhere.
Yes. And also it keeps you engaged. Why would you want to write about something you don't have any care about? You'd be bored just as much as the reader will be. What else? Passionate? Do we have to know something about the topic?
Knowledgeable, yeah.
It helps.
It helps, yes. You can research and do extra work if you really want, but start with what you already know. Every one of us here has an expertise. If I go around, everyone's expertise will be different. You bring something different to the table, and your insight will be different from somebody else's. So we all know about vocal variety, but my take on it might be different than Wayne's or Karen's. So start off with making a list of topics that you are passionate about, that you are knowledgeable about. And that list could be 20 pages long, because you're going to shorten it. You're going to condense it. You're going to then, all the stuff you're passionate about will be your first list. Then you're going to go into what would my audience want to hear about. That's the other thing. You got to really make sure we're writing for what the audience is looking for. So give me 2 examples of things that you would be passionate about talking about or writing about that perhaps the Toastmasters group wouldn't have any interest in.
That wouldn't have any interest in?
Yes, exactly.
My scrapbooking.
Okay. Right. Okay. So I love it. So scrapbooking, you're passionate about scrapbooking. And let's face it, other than you doing a speech on scrapbooking, I don't know how I'd use that in my Toastmasters journey. I could, perhaps, but perhaps I'm not able to think that way either. So another one might be something like, I'm going to say my Italian family cuisine. I love Italian food. I could talk about it all the time. I'm passionate about it. I love to eat it. Could do a speech about it, but really, truly, how's that going to help the Toastmasters community? Is it?
Make me fat, just thinking about it.
Yeah, but again, really, so knowing what your audience is looking for is also very important. So once we identify who our audience is, and we've already said, okay, in this case, we're doing Toastmasters, then we need to really start to think, okay, looking at our list of all these ideas, picking the ones that we feel most comfortable with to start off. And please understand that blogs don't have to be all that long. We talked about it before. They're going to be as long as they need to be. So you could have a blog that's only 300 words to a blog that's 7,000 words, depending on how detailed you want to go to it. But when you structure a blog, there's some things that you need to keep in mind. So you've picked the topic, we know why we're writing it, and now we need to set out a structure. So it's similar to writing a speech, really. You want to have an intro, a body, and a conclusion. But it's not the same in the sense that we don't want to be verbose with our language. We don't want to use all these flowery words that may not be suitable for what we're talking about. Some people feel when they're writing, they need to be so descriptive and use all these wonderful big words. Know your audience. If somebody has to pull out a dictionary or a thesaurus to see what it means, you probably don't want to use that type of language. Really using everyday language. Keep your sentences short, one thought 1 point per thought and sentence. Because when you are coming in to look at a blog, they suggest you use headings or point form because it's easier on the reader, on their eyes as they're reading it. You digest things in small bits. With a speech, you have a solid introduction, body, and conclusion. And we know how when we write our speeches, we have maybe 3 points in our body with subpoints. So for a blog, your introduction, same thing as being in a speech. You want it to be engaging and interact and catch the attention of your audience straight away by asking questions, stating a fact, a stat, or a quote. Sure, sounds great. That's not a problem. But get to the point. What is this going to be talking about? What question are you going to answer for your audience in this blog? Because you want that to be clear right off the top, whether it's in your catchy title. So for example, the title of this presentation, Blogging for Beginners. I don't think I could have been more simplistic. This is just the beginning stages. This is how we do it step by step, thinking about what we need to do. So perhaps you may want to have a little bit catchier title. So how could we change blogging for beginners to something that engages your audience?
Blogging simplicity.
Okay. Yeah, that's good. Anybody else?
Caroline.
Blogging blasters.
Blogging blasters. Okay. So here's the thing, guys.
Blasting bloggers.
What is it? Sorry?
Maybe blasting bloggers will be go somewhere else. Maybe.
Yeah, and this is it. Exactly. Consider the context, right?
Okay, that's right.
Again, catchy title is good, but you also want to make sure it's clear. So blogging simplicity, is it clear? Do you know what you're getting?
Maybe blogging simplified, maybe more clear.
Okay. Blasting bloggers, do we know what we're getting?
Something exciting.
Yeah, it's open for interpretation, isn't it?
It could also be putting down bloggers, blasting bloggers, like
And
on
that's exactly it. So
Like
again,
that.
you would- it
Yeah,
is-
the other side.
and that's it. You have to consider this again, when you're putting anything out there with your name attached to it, please be mindful that it's saying what you want it to say, especially if you're blogging for Raising Champions or Maple Leaf Toastmasters. You want to make sure that what you're putting out there is going to represent them in a good light. So once we have a catchy title, and again, titles sometimes I do last, because you want to write your blog first. You want to find out what you're going to say, and something may really be evident, like you may notice a foundational phrase or a common keyword or a really straightforward thought that's coming out. Or it could be something as simple as asking a question in your title.
So motivating bloggers, how about that? And
Oh, so you're talking about for the actual blog itself.
I
yeah,
just
absolutely.
motivating bloggers.
How to motivate. Okay, so there you go for your yes, for us motivators. There you go. Again, you want to have an overall title for your blog, but then you also want to have a title on each of your blogs itself. So let's just say we go with motivating bloggers or whatever as the whole thing. Each blog entry will have a different title. It's on a different topic, probably.
You do advancing into blogging.
Yeah, and that would be, you would think
Advanced club, right?
it would be more advanced, right?
Yeah.
Exactly. So pick and choose your titles wisely, but when you're coming up with the content in your intro and your body and your conclusion, you want to make sure that you're answering a question for your audience, or you have a keyword in mind that keeps you focused and on track. Because what happens, you'll notice in a lot of blogs, they'll start off by saying, you know, I really feel that Toastmasters is beneficial because it has helped me do blah, blah, blah. And then all of a sudden they're talking about what they have for dinner next week or last week, sorry. You want to make sure you're staying on focus, on target of what you're saying. So if you're talking about the benefits of Toastmasters, then stick with that all the way through. Use those headings, those points, so that we make sure that we are being consistent and clear, easy to read. Because I don't know about you, but when I see a bunch of words all together, I lose my place. I lose focus. But if I got some headings that grab my attention, how it can help me in my everyday life? Really? It can? And then there's a couple points underneath or a few sentences. My eye is drawn there.
Melanie, is that why some bloggers will write one sentence and then a blank line and then one sentence? That drives me crazy.
I know, right? And here's the thing, we've been trained as children and as adults to write in proper English and format, essay format, paragraphs. Blogging is not that. It's not going to get you any award-winning best author novels or anything like that. It is very different formatted. So you may have point form, you may have those spaces. And again, punctuation may not be great either. They tell you to blog and write like you talk. So we all know that perhaps if we're having a conversation, we may talk in different ways. But if I was in my teacher mode and saying, oh my gosh, that's terrible English, what are you doing? Where's your punctuation? But for blogging, it's kind of a free-for-all. It's really what's going to let the audience capture. So
It goes back to know your audience.
yes,
I am not
exactly.
the audience for someone who doesn't use punctuation and
And
proper English.
there you go, perfect. So here's the thing. If you go on, you're going to get a resource list at the end, guys. There's so many different places to share your blog and to get ideas for blogs. But you go and just search out a few different types of blogs and see what style you like and what you don't. Because I can tell you, millennials, they like certain types. Whereas the older generation like myself, I'm more about, I like the full sentences. I like to really feel the story. Tell me it, give it to me in full. But when I write my blogs, I don't do that. I do points because that's the way my thoughts come through. But again, knowing our audience will know what they need. So you may not know what your audience needs right at the very beginning. So that's why they say your first couple, well, actually your first 1,000 blogs, guys, 1,000, can you believe it? 1,000 blogs are purely to generate traffic to your website. That's it. So they're not going to be good, high quality content. Although I do encourage you not to write crap just to get people to come to your thing, because that's not the point. You want to give credibility to your blog, to your website, your business, your organization. So you always want to have quality content, but you may notice the beginning blogs might be more simplistic, shorter, to the point, just to get a feel for what people are looking for. So think about it as testing the waters, okay? So I'm going to give you 3 examples. Benefits of Toastmasters, how to craft a speech, and using vocal variety. Those are the 3 topics, okay? Now, we don't know, other than the fact our audience are Toastmasters, so we know they know some of the information. How are you going to make it your own? See, that's the beauty about blogging. It's your perspective, it's your opinion, your insight, and your learnings. You're sharing it. What's going to set yours aside from the other Toastmasters blogs out there? Because Toastmasters International has a blog, District 86 has a blog, District 123 has a blog. So what is going to make yours unique? This is the beauty of having multiple authors or creating a brand for yourself if you choose to do this for your business, is your voice starts to become what you're known for. Your writing style starts to become what you're known for. And that's what's going to keep people coming back. Your credibility, the content you're producing, and your style. So if I was to just quickly go around, and I'm going to, Karen, have to bore your eyes because I know other people have joined.
Wayne has a question.
Yes, Wayne, go ahead.
If I may talk about credibility, one of the things I think we have to be very cognizant of is the actual title of your article.
Yeah.
Far too often people utilize clickbait. And for those who don't know what clickbait is, basically putting a title on there that has nothing to do with your article in hopes of people to read it. For example, somebody may put down Naomi Judge's name in the title of the article because she just passed away on Saturday. So there's a lot of people on the internet clicking on to find out information, but your article is all about writing a speech. And if you do stuff like that, the search engines will penalize you and push you back to the back pages.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, how can we actually use, show our audience our credibility within the first sentence? Well, as Toastmasters, you could say how long you've been a Toastmaster. It's been a long time. Or, you know, something as simple, if you have a business and you're, let's just say your business is, I don't know, you're a doctor. You will want to put those credentials as an MD, right? You want to just make sure it's truthful. So Wayne, how would you be able to give yourself credibility as a Toastmaster or speaker?
In my particular case, I would put down that I've been a professional public speaker for the past 35 years.
There you go. Perfect. How about you, Marissa? How would you give yourself credibility as a Toastmaster? How would you identify?
I would say that I have been a Toastmaster for 10 years and I achieved my distinguished Toastmaster. If I can do it, anybody can do it.
There you go. Perfect. Demetra, how would you do it?
I would say that I'm working towards my DTM. However, I'm passionate and continually looking to improve myself, my skills, and my abilities.
Also, you're a club coach, so that would be
Club coach, yes.
okay.
Thank
So
you.
again, there are different ways we can give ourselves credibility, right? And here, I know we don't like to toot our own horns, but you're writing an article about something. You want people to know that you know what you're talking about. So sometimes if I write an article about something education or disability related, I will give myself that credibility as an accessibility advocate for accessibility, or as an individual living with a disability. That gives me credibility to talk to the topic. As a special education teacher with more than 25 years experience. Simple sentence, and that doesn't have to be in every blog, but your first few, you want to paint this image of who you are and what you're bringing to this table. This is until you build that trust with your audience. All right, so let's just go back to the structure. We've got a catchy title. We've got an introduction that gives you credibility and engages them with a question, a quote, a stat. You're now going into your body, and whatever way you decide to write it, full sentences, point form, headings, spaces, whatever your style will be is up to you. And I'll leave that creativity to you because you have to develop this. Your content has to be valuable. What are they going to walk away with? Are you just saying a bunch of blah, 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 because you want to have those many words? Or are you actually giving them value? I encourage you all to make sure everyone here has something to offer. A personal insight, their own personal experiences, as well as what you have learned. My favorite question is, what did you learn about yourself? What did you learn from this experience? Because every one of us learns from something. Every project we do, every meeting we attend. I know, Marissa, you were talking about how you guys were blogging about each meeting, right? Before?
Absolutely. That was basically our meeting minutes, and we would try to make it so to be of interest and put in catchy phrases that were used or catchy things that people said or messages. And it really is a game changer for the club.
It does. And you start to create this whole new network of people that are learning about your club. Not only are the members starting to invest their time in helping write blogs, but they're learning about a different skill and you're driving new people to it. The other great thing about blogging is it's brand new, fresh content for your social media. You know how hard it is to post on a regular basis on social media? That's why we have our VP of PR, right? But it's a lot of work for one person. But every time a new blog goes up, all of a sudden you have new content for that social media. Check out our new blog on whatever, and you give a link and there you go. This will keep people going to your website as well as to your social media because they're going to find out about the blogs on your social media platforms, or perhaps they're going to subscribe to your blog, and that's the goal.
Kathy has her hand up.
Yes, Kathy, hi, how are you? Yes.
Do we have some place to put our blogs if we were to write one?
Okay, did you get my notes ahead of time, Kathy?
No.
There's a lot of free spots, but go ahead, Wayne, please.
Actually, it was a question.
Yes,
In our particular case for RCAT, will we have a moderator / editor?
Not as of yet, we don't. Are you volunteering?
The other blind
question
guy,
says-
I
sure.
second that. I second
we-
that.
Or is that part of the team we were discussing?
Yes, exactly. So this is stuff that we will discuss further, but for this workshop, it's just make sure your club has a call to action, what the next steps are. But as our club, we will definitely put something in place of where it goes, who's gonna be in charge of uploading it and editing, stuff like that.
Mhm.
But good question. A call to action. Start to write a blog, at least your list of 8 blogs that you want to talk about. Once Raising Champions, you have your 8, connect with me. Let me know what your thoughts are on where you want to do, what's your timeline? 1 month you have. So when are you starting? Is this something?
Wants to have some answers so she can post some and not have to do them all.
You got it, absolutely, Anne, because I'm not going to do it all. My goal, remember, by June 30th is to have the blog up and running. You guys are going to be the creators and content. We're just going to make sure the next VPPR has an easy transition, right, guys?
Right.
Actually,
Again, if you guys have any questions, this is just the beginning. So what I am also going to provide for everybody for this workshop, I'm going to send an additional video by the lady that helps me with my blogs. She's going to talk about all the technical stuff, how to get it up there, how to get the SEO.
That's what I need.
Yeah.
That would be
So
great.
again,
Thank you.
that's not my expertise, hence why I tap on people
Sorry.
who have expertise in that. So it's going to be similar. Next week, we're going to talk about podcasting 101.
Mm.
Come on and talk about how to edit and upload to Anchor and other platforms. Thank everybody for coming, mindful of timing. But if anybody has any questions, but again, make sure you start writing.
Melanie, I want to say thank you very much for doing this and for hosting this. This has been very informative. Again, apologies for being late. You look fantastic, but thank you so much.
Thank you. I appreciate it.